The question of where God comes from imposes our limited understanding onto the concept of God. God has always existed as infinite consciousness. Beyond and in are four dimensions of length, width, height, and time. In fact, everything that exists is part of God's infinite consciousness. Therefore, it is illogical to assume that something finite could coexist with the infinite, as that would impose a boundary on the limitless. Let's consider a scenario to help convey this idea. Imagine you are God, the one infinite being with all knowledge. Being all-knowing, you can never experience surprise or a sense of accomplishment from working towards a goal. To explore this infinite existence, you decide to play a game of hide and seek with yourself. You divide your infinite self into various parts, each with its true nature hidden, given the illusion of separate finite objects. In this context, our perceived world, space, and time are mere illusions existing within the mind of God. Consider the analogy of driving 50 miles in a dream. The entire experience, including other cars and passengers, exists solely within your consciousness. Your woke self knows that the 50-mile trip did not truly take place in space and time, as it only felt real within the confines of your dream. So where does the 50 miles truly exist? Our limited minds attempt to quantify everything, and our five senses convince us that the 50 miles, other cars, roads, and people are separate physical and finite entities. However, the true, non-dreaming, or woke-up self knows that it all exists solely within consciousness. Likewise, our physical world can be likened to a dream in the mind of God. There are no real dimensions. Everything is perceived this way through our limited senses. Now let's consider the concept of time. There is no such thing as time in the way we perceive it. Eternity is the eternal now, and what we call time is merely our limited perspective of this eternal reality. It's similar to watching a movie frame by frame. We can't grasp the whole movie at once, and that limitation leads to our perception of time. However, in reality, eternity encompasses all there is. The now is all we experience, and it cannot be measured. This now we experience is eternity. There is only eternity, and eternity is not something one can suddenly enter into or exit abruptly. When Moses asked God who he was, the reply, "I am that I am," is significant. Each of us begins with "I am," but is immediately followed by some limitation, like "I am Jim," "I am Sally," or "I am happy," or "I am tired." The only constant is the "I am," which comes from God. Our self-awareness stems from this divine essence. However, it is essential to clarify that while we are pieces of God's consciousness, it would be blasphemous for anyone else to claim they are God. Christ, being the direct incarnation of God, is an exception to this. Christ said, "The Father and I are one." Christ is God directly manifesting himself within his dream. Similarly, just as we manifest ourselves in our own dreams. In our dreams, we interact with various characters, all played by pieces of ourself. Yet we conceal our true identity from these characters to grant them free will and engage with them genuinely. Similarly, God grants us free will, and our core essence is God's consciousness. To understand this concept better, consider the analogy of numbers extending infinitely in both positive and negative directions. Although individual numbers may appear finite, they are part of one infinite system. Likewise, we shouldn't impose our finite ideas onto the infinite when trying to understand the origins of God, as God has no origins. Ultimately, it is crucial to acknowledge that consciousness has always existed and is the sole reality. Why many materialists believe that only matter exists, upon closer examination, even the components we consider as matter, such as atoms, reveal themselves to be nothingness. There is nothing in our world that can be directly pointed to as tangible physical matter. The essence of everything lies within consciousness itself. Our bodies can be metaphorically compared to machines, instruments through which our true consciousness, the sacred I Am, with us emanates. The divine fragment of God is the source of our self-awareness, enabling our genuine selves to perceive this world through our five senses, or rather, our five limitations. In conclusion, God has no origin and has always existed. Everything exists within God, and time is the illusion. Our self-awareness originates from the divine essence within us. Consciousness is the only true reality, and we are connected to the infinite through the sacred I Am within. Let's take a moment to appreciate this profound truth and treat one another with kindness and compassion. Have a wonderful day, and God bless. Look at the flowers on this shrub. One could state that each flower appears independent. However, each flower is actually part of the shrub and does not exist in its own right. Every flower is one with the shrub. The shrub is all there is. It would be blasphemy for a flower to claim it is the shrub. Likewise, it would be blasphemy for a flower to simply say, I am only a flower.